Well, hi, buddy, John Elzinga, and welcome back to It's a Great Day to Serve the Lord. And our devotional today is a little bit different. And it's titled, When I'm Fine Means I'm Not Fine. And when I'm okay means I'm not okay. And this is the convergence, really, between customer service and ministry. And you'll understand what I mean in a second, because in the business world, especially retail, hospitality, restaurant, the last thing that you want to hear from your customer is "I'm fine," because "I'm fine" means I'm not fine. It's fine means something's wrong. That is the last thing that I want to hear. I'm fine can often mean, I'm irritated by what you just did, so I don't have time to bother with it. That's what I'm fine means. I'm fine means something's wrong, and I don't have the time to mess with it. I'm fine means I just don't want to make a complaint. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. It's just not what I wanted. That kind of thing. That's what it means. In the world in general and in relationships, when you ask somebody, "Hey, how you doing?" "I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm fine." Those are common answers, but often, when you say "I'm okay," there's actually something wrong. You're not okay. "I'm fine," there's something bothering you. You're not fine. Yeah, sometimes "I'm fine" is a practical response because you really don't have the time to discuss what's going on. But in the business world, in restaurant world, in hospitality world, in retail world, when a customer says "I'm fine" or "it's fine," it should stop you in your tracks, because something's wrong and the customer just doesn't want to talk about it. Many years ago, many years ago, my boss and I were entertaining a big-time customer who was at a convention with us in Minneapolis. And so we took our client, our customer, out to dinner, and we took him to the Ruth Chris Steakhouse. One of my favorites. I just love the place. I just can't afford it. Anyway, we took him to the Ruth Chris Steakhouse, and the place was packed, by the way, and we ordered, we all ordered the traditional, filet mignon on this sizzling porcelain plate. And I believe our client, that we were entertaining, he had ordered a medium rare, which is really hardly distinguishable. There's a line somewhere between rare, medium rare, and medium, and yet you can float over that line pretty easily from a visual standpoint. And so the steaks were delivered by the waitress. We started to eat, and she came back just a couple of minutes later, and she said, how is everything, to each one of us. And our customer, our client, the person we were entertaining, said, "It's fine." And she did one of those, like a nod, and she looked at his steak, and she says, "You ordered medium rare, right?" "Yeah." He says, "Well," she said, "that's really not what you ordered, is it?" "It's okay. I'm fine." And I'm not kidding you. I don't know what it was, 7-8 minutes later, she comes back with the manager of the restaurant with a brand new filet for this gentleman, because she knew when he said it was fine, it wasn't fine. Much of the time we hear these comments, "I'm fine, I'm okay," by our employee, an associate, a sibling. We'll hear it, from a son, a daughter, a husband, a wife, father, mother. We'll hear that all the time. And maybe we hear it too much, and maybe we brush it off. And yet we need to know that God hears, sees, and understands who we are, what we're feeling at any given moment. In fact, Psalm 34:18 says this: "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Save those who are crushed in spirit. God sees past the "I'm fine" and "I'm okay," and sees into the heart and sees what's really going on, and feels and senses what really is going on in our hearts and our lives. We are crushed. We are burdened. We are broken inside. That's what a broken heart is. We are in agony about something. We are in pain about something. We are distraught about something. We are lost about something or someone. And the thing is that God sees that, but we can too. We can too. And I believe what we need to see people with our hearts, with the heart of Jesus. Luke 4:18 said Jesus came to heal the brokenhearted and proclaim liberty to the captives, liberty from that brokenness, liberty from the pain, liberty from the quiet feelings, liberty from the thing that I'm not talking about. It is Jesus heals those who are captive to their own quiet hurt and pain, their own lostness and loneliness, their own emptiness and brokenness. I believe that when you see or hear people say, I'm fine or I'm okay, maybe we need to press in just a little bit. I have a friend, or had a friend really, loved the guy, years ago who was a real big advocate of people being open and vulnerable, and yet he never was himself. I would sit there in his office and talk to him, and I'd say, are you okay? And detecting that something's off, something's wrong, that whatever, and he'd say, yeah, I'm dealing with some issues, and then I'd say, do you want to talk about it? And he'd go cold. He was an advocate about being open and vulnerable, and yet he wouldn't be open and vulnerable. I wonder sometimes, are we in some kind of a stalemate between exposure, being exposed, and our hidden feelings? Between brokenness and our fake smiles? I wonder. There's a guy, the minute I tell you his name, I think you're gonna know who he is, but I'm kind of becoming acquainted with this singer whose name is Jelly Roll. And I'm kind of just really, this past week, just really learning about him, and he's got quite a story. And he's been quite a broken person, and he's been through a lot. He has lived 40 different lives, I think. He's been in jail a lot, in and out of jail, and a lot of other elements in his life, but he's not shy about his brokenness. He's not shy about his sinfulness. He's not shy about his past. He is open about who he has been and who he is. That's what I love about that. He's open, he's raw, and he's real. And believe it or not, he has a song titled, I'm Not Okay. And some of the lyrics are this, I'm not okay, I'm barely getting by. I'm losing track of days and losing sleep at night. I'm not okay, hanging on the rails. So if I say I'm fine, just know I've learned how to hide it well. Yeah. We learn to hide it so well. There's one more song the one line in that song really sticks out to me. The song's called, it's really a Christian gospel kind of song. It says, you healed others, please don't forget me. It says that line, some days I smile just to hide the pain. Yeah. We hide it well and we smile. Now, I want to take a little diversion, a little side note here. This is free. You don't. I'm not charging you for this one. But I want to provide maybe some personal insight into, I think, some misunderstanding that people have about brokenness and sin. You see, I want everybody to know, and I talk about it a lot. If you know me, if you've been in my classes, you've heard me talk about it. I love broken people. Because I am broken, because I have been broken. I love sinners because I am a sinner. And Jesus loves broken people, and he loves sinners. He loves them when they know they are broken and know they are sinners. When Jesus walked with and ate and lived with sinners, offering forgiveness and grace, it doesn't mean that sin was not sin. Sin is still sin. What it means is that he loves them in the midst of their sin because they know they are sinners, and because they know they are broken, and because they know they're not worthy of his grace and his mercy. After that big, miracle fish catch that the disciples had, Peter, realizing who Jesus really was, who this miracle really came from, who this person who knows deeply in his heart who he is, he jumps out of the boat and he falls to his knees before Jesus and said, "Oh Lord, please leave me. I'm such a sinful man." You gotta love that. People that they know they're sinners. They know they're broken. What makes me sad is this. There are many people who are broken and don't know that they're broken. There are many people who are sinners and don't think of themselves that way. They think they're good people. The reality is that many people have been conditioned to cover up and not disclose what's really going on. And so I ask God to give us the eyes to see and the ears to hear the silent grieving, the quiet struggles, the inner battles going on in people's lives, that we could see people with our heart. In fact, and this is again the convergence of customer service and ministry. When I taught customer service, and I taught it to thousands of people over the years, it's a message, a seminar I call Capture the Heart of the Customer. And I would often bring out or hand out this wristband that says, "See people with your heart." See people with your heart. And if you want, you go to my website at johnelziga.com. You can find it there. See people with your heart, because it is a trigger that reminds me that every person that I see, every person that I serve from a customer service point, has stuff in their life. They've all got stuff. We've all got stuff. I had somebody say to me once, "John, I don't have any stuff." I said, "Give me 5 minutes, I'll find some stuff." And it may not have been him in particular, but what I reminded was that in his circle of friends and family, there's something going on. There's always something going on. We all know it's there, festering inside of us. And so I've tried to train myself to look and to listen, especially when people say they're okay, or it's fine, or I'm fine, and to look and listen to their tone of voice. I look at their countenance, their posture, and I imagine the quiet pain that they may be experiencing, the quiet problem that they're not talking about. I imagine the stage in a person's life. Maybe it's a single person sitting there all alone and they're lonely. Maybe it's an older person or an older couple, and I imagine they're on a limited income and a list of medical problems. I imagine the middle-aged person or couple financially just trying to hold it together. I imagine the couple at the restaurant not even talking, just looking at their phones. I imagine the parents who have rebellious children who are just hoping and longing for them to come back to Jesus Christ. All we have to do, my friend, is imagine. You remember the old adage, right? Put yourself in someone else's shoes. And yet, in our busy world, we keep going, we keep moving, we keep hiding our pain and ignoring the pain of others. Because we have an amazing capacity to put up walls in our mind, in our hearts, until we can't, until our brokenness is exposed, or until it's too late and we leave this world. My friend, if you're one of those who say, "I'm okay," and you're really not okay, or "I'm fine," and you're really not fine, Jesus is calling you to open your heart, to be honest with yourself as Jelly Roll did, and I do myself. If you know me at all, if you've been in my classes, you've been in my seminars, you know I talk about brokenness a lot and my own brokenness. Be honest with yourself, because Jesus is calling to you to be honest. Humble yourself, be real, and call out to Jesus, because he said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest." Or maybe connect with another person. Connect with another believer. Someone who knows the Lord, who knows how to pray. Because James 5:16 says, "Admit your faults to one another and pray for each other so that you may be healed." The earnest prayer of a righteous person, and all that means is someone connected to Jesus Christ. The earnest prayer of a righteous person has wonderful results. That's your devotional for this week. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel, like this message, share it, share the link with others. And if you have supported this channel, thank you very much. If you'd like to support it, just send me an email at john@johnelzinga.com. I'll send you back a link in which you can make a donation. Well, God bless you, and remember, it's a great day to serve the Lord.